hop into a fun little demo part of our webinar here. And what I'm going to start out with is what we like to call a journey automation. So this is a new feature that has really kind of made everything nice and consolidated in one place. I've already set up a little bit for you. This one takes a little bit longer than some of the other demos, but walking you through what we've set up here. This is a journey automation for a new contact. Obviously, we'll always want to start with the title. We named this one the really cool new contact nurturing journey. I always recommend doing a description just to remind yourself what it is, what we're looking for, high level overview. Click save. So for this, starting small is the best way to kind of get yourself into any of the new features, and then you can work out from there. You can obviously make these as complex as you want them to be, but I always recommend starting with template versions just to make sure you kind of know what you're doing before you really get your feet wet. So here we have the new contact coming in. And one really nice thing about the journey automation is it pretty much consolidates what you would used to have as 4 different workflows into one nice visual. So I have this zoomed out a little bit so you can see the whole journey. But as you can see, if we go into the new contact, this is a flow itself. So the new contact enters the journey here. They then will go and get the email that is for the new contact specifically. So we kind of have this being something that's just a nice introductory to who we are, what we do. Then we recommend waiting on the activity. So for this one, for example, I set it up as a 3-day waiting period. I want to make sure that they're clicking on the email, they're showing some engagement. If they do, they will go down to the mid-intent part of the journey. If they do not, they will go into the nurturing part of the intent. So I'll go back here and show you the initial part of the journey. If we go down to the mid-intent area, they will then come in here. They'll get another email, which is again meant for this stage of the journey. And then they'll go into the waiting on the activity. This one, we did it for 5 days. There's not a great recommendation of 5-7 days. It's really more based on your sales cycle and how long that journey takes. So I'd make sure if you have a longer sales cycle, you might want to add a few more days in this. If you have a shorter one, you can add less days, just really depending on your sales cycle. So you're waiting on that activity. If they click on the email, they'll go down and be considered qualified. So they'll exit this journey. If they do not click on the email, they'll go into the low intent path. So I'll go back here and you can see if they go new contact, they click on that email, they get into mid intent, they click on that email, and then they're qualified. If they go this way, they'll go down to low intent. So then we'll go into the low intent version, which would be the in nurturing aspect of this journey. Clicking into here, similar kind of cadence. We'll wait on different activity. We want them to either fill out a form, we want them to open an email, or look at any sort of media that we have. So it's kind of a little bit broader perspective here, but making sure that they're engaging with the brand in some perspective, not necessarily clicking on the email, but showing some sort of action and some sort of interest. If they do that, they go down back into that mid-intent workflow that I just showed you guys. If they do not do that, they'll go into the unengaged. We'll go back here. And like I said here, you can kind of see the nurturing. If they go and they show any interest, they'll go back into this mid-intent. If they do not, they'll go into the unengaged, which is again, one other flow. Here is again, very similar. We'll send them another email. We'll wait on the activity. If they respond, they'll go into mid-intent. And if they don't, they'll go into low intent. So this is really just a quick and simple way that you guys can see how journey automation works. There's a lot of different ways that they can have really good use cases, such as multi-touch nurture campaigns. If we want to build out a targeted nurture path for different personas or different buyer stages without needing to manually set up dozens of different workflows like we would have had to do in the past. It's really good for re-engagement campaigns to reconnect with dormant leads by enrolling them into multi-step sequences without having to adapt kind of based on engagement. Or you could do an event or webinar follow-up. So something like this, if you are subscribed to the webinar, they can kind of automatically get segmented follow-ups based on which webinar they went to, and having that be really personalized and a nice touch. And again, just being able to see it all mapped in one place, I think is the biggest benefit, because if you've dealt with a lot of different workflows in the past, you have to click through a lot of different things and trying to figure out what touches where everything goes. I really personally like this view. I used to have to do it on pen and paper. So I feel like this is really nice just to see it all in one place that you wouldn't have been able to do with workflows in the past.
Yeah, Heather, I think this new feature set, this rolled out, I think, they've been working on it over the course of this last year. And, you and I have built out, hundreds of workflows in our time. And, as I think about SmartBug, I think of some of our clients who already have workflows in place. I think one of the biggest questions that may pop up is thinking about if I have an existing set of workflows do I need to rebuild all this in customer journey automation? Can you just discuss like how is customer journey automation really different than using workflows?
Yeah, I think the big difference is really consolidating everything in one space. So I would say, there are some HubSpot instances that they've had lots of workflows built in the past and don't reinvent the wheel for now, kind of just testing it out and seeing how it works. Trying to start something that you maybe haven't set up with workflows in the past and starting fresh would be the best recommendation for now. And then as time goes on, if you want to audit your existing workflows and consolidate, I think this will be a really great thing once it kind of gets out of that beta stage.
That's great. Yeah, there's a lot of testing that we're still doing on this and look forward to seeing some of those results.